That pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the AP warrant number 10, in the amount of $249,881.47.
I will move that we pay AP warrant number 10 in the amount of $249,881.47.
I second.
Been moved and seconded to pay AP warrant number 10, the amount of $249,881.47. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is payroll journal number 150, an amount of $11,643.68.
I will move that we pay payroll journal number 150 in the amount of $11,643.68.
I second.
Been moved and seconded to pay payroll journal number 150 in the amount of $11,643.68. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Carries. Next item on the agenda is the select board minutes from September 25th, 5:30 regular meeting.
I will move that we accept the select board minutes from September 25th, 2023, both the executive session and the regular meeting as printed.
I second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the minutes of September 25th, the executive session and regular session as written. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is public comment, on non-agenda items. It's an opportunity for anyone who lives in Pownell to step forward and be heard by the select board. Now we have a new provision. We'd like you to step forward and speak into the microphone so that we can be recording. We're now currently recording our meeting to be saved onto a YouTube channel so that the public may at some time watch them. And maybe you could just let us, the public, know how they can access that in the future.
So I just created a Town of Pownell YouTube channel. I am going to link it. So right now on the homepage of our website, you see Town Hall Streams, and that's no longer active. So I'm going to change that to say watch meetings and link the YouTube channel to that. As more boards and committees come on board, what I'll do is organize it under playlists. So there'll be like select board, planning board, budget committee, and organize their meetings that way. So you can go right to that playlist and then find the meeting, which will be dated, that you want to watch. Hopefully it's that simple.
So this is an opportunity. Is there anyone for the public that would like to be heard by the board? Hi, Bill Graves, welcome back. Thank you. Seeing none, we'll move on to department head reports. Department head reports can be found on the website. You click on the department and their reports are there. Is there any question from the select board of the department heads who are currently in attendance, both Chief Peters and Matt Nielsen?
I have none.
I have none.
I have none. Thank you. Good job on the reports. Well written, easy to understand. Next item, does the select board have anything to report?
I do not.
Do I? Next item is under new business, the federal ARPA grant.
So again, the standing agenda item to continue discussions about the remaining funds, which is approximately 100,000. I don't have the exact figure in front of me. As we move forward with special town meeting and town meetings to just make sure we're looking at decisions in which direction we want to go with the rest of the funds.
We may come back to this when we're talking about an item.
Absolutely.
Right up. So the next item on the agenda is the town planner computer. Everyone has some information.
So after a little bit of back and forth, there's a new estimate from Ion for a specific ASUS notebook that has a special screen. And the chip and speed capabilities that the town planner thinks is adequate. Originally on 9/11/2023, you approved $1,694.69. That was on a very basic computer. This estimate is $3,735.15 for this specific computer.
Could you educate me on why we need a $3,735.15 computer compared to a $1,600 computer?
So part of it is the screen capabilities and town planner's ability to view the screen. He needs something very specific.
So. Depending on the will of the board, one option might be to use part of that federal ARPA money. But we have to insert that on the town. Special town meeting.
Yes,
So we have to. Going to approve it, this, that's the urgency, it has to get on. the board. You could have to. Today.
Well, we had previously discussed replacing all the town's computers under the ARPA funds,
Correct.
so. I would move that we include this with that ARPA fund then.
You just repeated the amount of money.
yes. $3,735.15.
Will that be, all of that be covered by the ARPA?
Yes, we can do it that way.
So would you like to second that, Ms. Day?
I second.
So it's been moved and seconded to use a federal ARPA grant fund money to purchase a laptop from Iron Networking for the new town planner at the cost of $3,735.15. Is there any more discussion? I didn't realize you had to sprint out. Thank you. It was very helpful. All right, all in favor? So Becky, would you revise the town warrant to reflect the additional funds from the ARPA grant?
Yes.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is a volunteer form. I love when these come up. This volunteer form is for Teresa Lofgren. She would like to rejoin the CIP committee. So I'm going to move that we accept Teresa Lofgren as a member of CIP.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved in second to accept Teresa Lofgren back to the CIP committee. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Welcome back, Teresa, and thank you very much.
There is her certificate of appointment info.
Sign that and pass that on, please. Next item on the agenda is a special town meeting warrant. We have this as a piece of evidence in our packet. I am going to read the articles as required, and then we'll vote to accept it with a revision that will come. Okay, so Article 1 is to choose a moderator that said to preside at said meeting. Article 2, shall an ordinance entitled Town of Pownell Conservation Subdivision Ordinance be enacted? As a copy of the ordinance shall be available at town meetings. Is that available at all on the website yet, Becky?
It will be once we're done with this. So I just got an edited document this afternoon.
Thank you. Article 3 is shall an ordinance entitled 2023 amendments, is that the number of amendments? Sorry. 2023 amendments to the town of Pownell Land Use and Zoning Ordinance, section 400 definitions be enacted.
So we need to look at both of these because with the acceptance of the conservation subdivision, it actually changes section 400, 600, and 900 in a few different areas. So I'm a little unsure if we have to have a separate article for each one of those changes, or if it can be one article referencing those sections.
So how, I mean, I've tried to go through all the changes. In your estimation, how many changes are there?
$11, and then this afternoon, Sam from North Star, oh, I'm sorry, there were 4 more here. So there's 15 from this email last week, and then Sam from North Star added 2 more suggested edits this afternoon.
It seems to me that'd be impossible to do and publish this warrant in time.
Mhm.
To. And I don't think we can pass a straight face test with this article.
Yeah, this was the original article because I thought that it was just going to be a new ordinance and it affected the definitions. That was the information that I had received about 3 weeks ago when I drafted these 2. Then late last week, I found out it actually affects several different areas in the land use ordinance. So I'm just unclear which direction to go on how to write those articles.
Suggestions from the board? This is a very time consuming, complicated task, let's say.
Given the time constraints and that we are supposed to have a public hearing on these and we still don't have the finished product, I would recommend that we table these until the June.
So let me be clear, are you recommending we table Article 2 and Article 3?
Just Article 2.
So Article 3 is affected if Article 2 passes. So it would really be both if you table Article 2.
Article 3 is precipitated by the changes necessitated by Article 2. So,
So I guess we would have to table both of them.
so. Can you hold off on that?
Yeah, I didn't make a motion. I'm just a recommendation.
So Becky had a suggestion, and this is a suggestion that we back up a month and have the special town meeting in January. This won't work. We can't possibly write the article time for the timetable. It just won't.
No, we don't. Jumping ahead, the TIF article, we're not ready for that either.
Correct.
All right, so. And would you like to, you don't have a date?
I think the first select board meeting is June 8th.
January.
I mean, January 8th. Yeah, June. There's one then too. The second, that typically is our first budget committee presentation, but we could always adjust that a little bit. So we could go for the second meeting in January, which would be the 24th, if I've got my calendar correct.
So if you'd like to. Now, that comes at a cost because we've already advertised, so we'll be out $200. That should be.
Yeah.
Noted in the record.
So I will move that we push back the special town meeting from December 11th, 2023 to January 4th, January 24th, 2024.
I second.
So it's been moved and seconded to postpone the special town meeting scheduled for December until January 24th, 2020. Is there any more discussion? Please.
There's been some discussion with a future facilities committee that we may have a need to have an article on the warrant at a special town meeting ahead of the deadline for applying for congressionally discretionary spending. We have a meeting tomorrow night where that will be part of the discussion. But if we could have a placeholder on the warrant for that, that would be great.
Is that request time sensitive?
It is because the window for applying will open, late January. And we have to be ready to apply. Basically, you get 1 week to put all your paperwork in. So we have to basically have it all ready to go prior to that.
January 24th be too late. Go ahead.
January 24th versus the 8th.
Yep, those would be the two options.
Hmm?
The 8th would be the other option.
Yeah, that would be fine. That would be, yes, that would be, as far as I know. I know Congress is moving along very smoothly these days, so not sure what the dates will be, but.
So thank you, Bo.
Okay, thank you.
Jesse just informed me it's the 22nd. 22nd. Yep.
I will amend.
Thank you, Jesse.
You should probably state our name, our address.
This is Marcia Bowen. I'm on the planning board. I live on Royal Road. Some information and a question. First of all, there's been many emails about these changes. And what Becky has in her hands was not voted on. So this gives the planning board, if I understood, to vote on all of the changes and will be square. Is that your understanding?
That is correct.
Because there are changes to definitions, which is easily voted on, but then some of the other changes are more complicated, including advice from our legal counsel. So I think this actually is advantageous, and it does give us a little more time in case someone wants to change the draft ordinance, then, we need even more time. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right, any other? So it's been moved and seconded. Have we already voted?
No.
Moved and seconded to change the date, January 22nd, special town meeting. All in favor? So be it. And would you include in the warrant a placeholder for the future facilities commission for a grant opportunity?
So would you like me to actually book the school for this one? Because we had originally talked about having it here.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll change that. And then did you want to look at the other articles? Okay.
Oh, are any of the articles other time sensitive? They all have got a fiscal year, right?
None of them are time sensitive, except for the town planner computer really out of the ARPA funds.
Are we gonna have to change the Article 5, the figure, to reflect the cost of the,
Yeah, he will do that.
okay.
And I suppose that we'll talk about the town. planners.
Okay.
Transferring funds. So Andy, you were mentioning the TIF article. Where are we?
I'm still waiting for Esther Brooks to give me what they're looking for.
Okay, so
the information from Esther Brooks is, which I asked for at least 3 to 4 weeks ago.
So that would be for the, I just kind of put two placeholders, the CEA, the Credit Enhancement Agreement. Isabel forwarded several documents, which I believe I sent that email to you. I've also sent them to the town attorney we've been working in, and she's working on writing the article for that now. So we should have that by the end of the week.
Well, we should probably have a email from the town to the Esther Brooks Corporation saying that now we're under the gun. So, if they choose not to answer, well, that will solve that problem. Any other discussion about the special town meeting warrant? Okay, Becky, with that?
Yes.
Next item on the agenda is the fiscal year 23 audit. Have before me the document here. You've all had access to it. Okay.
So the adjustments that you have in front of you are typical ones that we have every year. Most of them are just adjusting beginning balances like motor vehicle sales tax and things like that for reports that sort of overlap. There is some adjustments as far as the unassigned funds that were voted on at the previous town meeting. And the carry forward requests are in that. I've looked them over. Every one of them looks in order. I have scanned through the audit. Nothing jumped out. Any of questions I had, I reached out, she corrected them right away. So the final product to me is ready to go.
So we need to move to accept the audit.
Accept the audit and to do the corrections, the adjustments.
So we'll move to accept the audit first, and then we'll move to accept the adjustments. Does everybody understand the adjustments? We've been through this a couple times. Trying to figure out careful.
Yes.
So I will move that we accept the audit for fiscal year 23.
Correct.
A second.
Been moved and seconded to accept the audit for year 2023. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? So moved.
And I will also move that we accept the adjustments to the audit for fiscal year 24 dated 7/1/2023.
A second.
Moved and seconded to accept the adjustment for fiscal year 24 dated 7/1/23. Is there any discussion? Seeing that, all in favor? Well, that's one chapter. It's good to get done. Thank you, Becky, for all your work on the audit.
You're welcome.
Exciting. Next item on the agenda is a real estate request form for map 9, lot 43. You have the evidence in front of you. It's a real estate request form from Shane Brady to purchase tax map and lot number map 9, lot 43, property location Elmwood Road, 90 acres, assessed property value 141. Is intended use is to develop the land into a mobile home park. So our procedure is whether to accept the real estate request form and start the real estate process,
Correct.
sending it to committees for their approval. That's generally the standard operating procedure that we do. But we'll need a motion.
So I will move that we start the typical process of sending this to committees for their input.
A second.
Okay, moved and seconded to forward the real estate request form from Shane Brady for map 9, lot 43 for purview of various committees and departments. Any more discussion? Becky.
I just wanted to make note that it also goes to the abutters and department heads for feedback. And it's a 60-day window, so we will readdress this in 60 days.
All in favor? Good. Opposed? Next item is CPCOG Vision Zero Initiative. Enhancing rural and island traffic safety. You have before you a piece of evidence from Rick Harbison. What are they asking? Are they asking for us to?
They're asking for someone to sit on this panel. So I'm bringing it forward because that's probably not a possibility for me at this juncture. So I just wanted to see if any one of you or there's somebody that might be interested in having a voice for panel at this.
Well, I think it's gonna be really important to be part of this, so I will, no one else wants to do it, I will join in because it'll be important for the village district to have some input into from this particular.
Okay.
Unless there's any objection from the other boards, anyone want to jump in? So you can throw my name.
I will do that.
Next item on the agenda is plumbing inspector and deputy clerk oaths. Jennifer Giddings. Andy?
I will move that we appoint Jennifer Giddens, plumbing inspector and deputy clerk, and administer the oaths.
A second?
Been moved and seconded to approve the appointment of Jennifer Giddings for plumbing inspector and deputy clerk.
Just for notes again on this, she was interim plumbing inspector. She has passed her LPI, so we needed to oath her for that. Secondly, the state has come down with some pretty strict guidelines on accessing the drop box during absentee balloting. I need 2 people, so it would just be nice to have her through, it's just through the election for the deputy clerk, so we can access it right at 8 or right at 4 at the end of the day. So that way Kathy's not running down all the time every 2 hours when I might need to go out and get it. So thank you.
All in favor? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda, senior project for this particular AV room. Becky.
So I mentioned in passing to John that I wonder if somebody at Freeport High School might want to do a senior project on our new AV equipment. You know, how to actually run it, write up procedures, edit the videos. And so the thought was to reach out to Freeport High School to see if they have an IT person or someone that's looking into getting into that for college, needing this for their college resume and their senior projects. I wanted to bring it up.
So with the board approval, I would reach out to Charlie Mellon, the vice principal of Freeport, to see if there's possible Powell student or Freeport High School student cut their teeth on the technology out.
I'm in favor.
Great idea.
Okay, next item is the brown tail moth power wash. Great item. So, you may have know that we had, money from the state, Department of Forestry and Wildlife to combat the dreaded brown-tailed moth. I wanted to bring forward a unique opportunity to, since we cannot use pesticide, I was talking to Mr. Alan Bradstreet the other day, and he was using a gentleman from Pownell with a lift truck, power wash his roof, get the moss off. And a light bulb went off in my head. Since this lift truck can go up 4 stories, which would be 40 feet, fairly tall tree, why wouldn't it be possible, because we have the money to contract with this gentleman to blast the nest out of the tops oak trees. So in order to move forward on just talking to this man about it, I wanted to make sure that the board and the public was apprised of this seemingly harebrained, but possibly pretty clever way to proceed.
Certainly worth a shot.
We have the funding, there's a lot of things happening with this particular grant. We have the fifth grade at Pownell Elementary School that's gonna do a unit on the brown tail moth life cycle and financial implications to the town of Pownell. And they're willing to have a public get together. We have money for education and a little reception for that. So that will get our school involved. We have money for 12 pruning poles. We also have money for this lift. in that grant. So if the board approves, I will approach the gentleman and see. I don't even know if he'd be. Any thoughts?
I got one, and the only.
So I'm Matt Nielsen, I'm the road commissioner. And also, the only thing I would look at with that is a lot of times, depending on the water and the penetration that you use, if you're using that to try to destroy nests, I've seen in the past where that actually leads it to spread because it kind of breaks up the nest. And once they drop to the ground, a lot of those caterpillars are still alive. So they either go back up the tree or to other trees. That's the only thing. So I'd do a little bit more research before looking into that. And that's the only thing.
This would be done.
Okay.
Water. Listen, water, still bubbling amount, and they landed on the ground. Hopefully, they'd freeze.
Just not on the roads.
But you would have to be. These would be large oak trees on, that you get access from the road, maybe spraying towards. Okay. Thank you for that. We had already thought about not doing it when spreading them off, or the catacomb. All right, I'll talk to him and report back. Any other questions about that brown tail moth grant? The Conservation Commission had a wonderful display of that at the incredibly successful Pownell Pumpkin Fest. With a very nice poster made by a Freeport High School student, Olivia Carter. So we should put that in the minutes. Okay. Next item on the agenda is town office hours for public hearings and election.
So the public hearings is null now because we're postponing them. But I am requesting that we close the counter on election. Being short-staffed and I'm the only registrar, I'm gonna have to serve in that role all day during election. There is one, I did have a doctor's appointment the following week. It would be an hour late start, but we can talk about that when it gets closer.
Is there any objection to closing the office counter on the day? What is election day?
November 7th.
November 7th. Nope. Would you post that then?
I will. Yep.
Sure. Have you been reaching out to ballot clerks?
Yes, we're all set. Schedule is all done. I emailed them the final draft of the schedule last week, so we're in good position for that. It's a fairly simple election with 8 questions, so the tally should be pretty quick, yes and no, and the pack up. So I don't expect it to be a late night, but the state is predicting a high turnout. And we've issued probably 50 or 60 absentee ballots at this point, which is more than I thought we would do for the whole season, and we're only a week into it, so it has been busy.
Good, so still under new business. How are we doing with the candidate search?
I have received 5 applications. I have 2 phone interviews scheduled for this Wednesday. I am waiting for confirmation For the fourth candidate, I have another one scheduled for next Wednesday, and then I'll reach out to the fifth candidate that I just got today and try to get that scheduled between this Wednesday and next Wednesday. From there, I'll narrow it down for an in-person interview with the board.
Questions about that?
Perfect.
Under new business, any new information about the TIF? Information from TIF plan.
Isabel?
We've got information from that. All we need is to fill in with Esther Brooks, DEA.
Right.
Does anybody have any questions about the district or the wording?
No, I'm pretty happy with the district itself.
Okay, good. All right, is there any other new business? I think under new business, we should recognize with a round of applause the incredible pumpkin fest that was here. Kathy Hoag's incredible work. I've had more comments on that. In fact, the phone, there are more positive calls on the phone than negative phones. So thank you very much for. So, thank you for that. It was really a great day for everyone else who participated. Any other new business? Is there any old business we have to knock around here? Seeing none, any correspondence? We will be at a GP cog meeting on Wednesday. Marcia, we will not be at the planning board. Sounds like you have plenty. Keep yourself busy. In trouble? Is there any other business? Seeing none, I'll motion for adjournment.
I'll move that we adjourn.
A second.
Seconded, all in favor? Thank you for attending.